Hey y'all, it is Ashley and Taylor. We are back at it today.
With tea.
New mugs.
New mugs.
My second week in a row with the Virginia mug. Just
Yes.
a different one. Taylor thinks it's Valentine's Day.
And I didn't steal this one from the office this week.
She stole it from her grandma.
Yeah, she gave it to me. She gave it to me. But it is from my grandma.
That's what she says.
Yes.
So we are here this week to talk about what we are seeing that's different than this time last year. What we were seeing trending last year opposed to the wild, wild west that we're in right now.
Yeah, so RAIN, which is the Real Estate Information Network, that kind of is all the data sources for real estate in Hampton Roads, came out with a number that in June 2019, compared to June 2020, we are actually down 37% in listings.
Yeah.
In 1 year, down 37%.
1 year.
Yeah, that's over a third of inventory that's just not available.
That's not available. So I know Taylor and I literally every week we're like, hey, there's not enough houses. Hey, there's not enough houses. But when you see it in kind of that statistic form, you're like, holy cow, there's not enough houses.
Right, like it's not just us.
Yeah.
Not just us thinking
It's not just
there's
us.
not enough inventory.
So we keep saying it,
Yeah.
but so here's the crazy thing. So we see the decrease in inventory,
Right.
but the pending sales are 32% higher than they were this time last year.
Yeah, so less on the market, but more activity happening.
Which is insane.
Yeah, so it's definitely great to be a seller.
Yeah. It is great to be a seller out there.
Yes.
So for us, I mean, and I think we've talked about it before, so that's really pushing you. I mean, that's why homes are going so fast, and that's why things are going top dollar, because all these people are out here looking. There's nothing out there.
And even over top dollar, most of the time, to be completely honest, too.
Yeah.
Like, there's a certain asking price that it's listed at, but a lot of times they're going over that, and sometimes way over that.
Yeah. Crazy. Like
Yeah.
it's that wild, wild west out here.
It is.
Crazy times.
But that does make a lot of new things happen when people are kind of struggling for inventory, especially when people are selling their homes without real estate agents.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we know we call them FSBOs.
Yes.
So you're familiar with the lingo. So that stands for sale by owner.
Yes.
So now you're a cool real estate agent lingo
We'll get you
professional.
some tea and hang out.
That's our tea tip of the day, is the lingo.
Yes.
But people obviously are always going to try to sell their homes on their own. We see it all the time. But
And for different reasons too.
Correct.
Like sometimes maybe they're trying to save money or they're trying to move fast and don't want to rely on a real estate agent.
Yes.
Which a real estate agent will help it go by much faster and smoother.
Yes.
But everyone has their reasons. Everyone has their
Absolutely. And we get it. I mean,
Yeah.
So for us though, so before, I think we always, when we would talk to FSBOs, we would find that they're really trying to work without an agent on both sides of the transaction. So they don't want someone to help them sell the house, but they also don't want to work with someone that is trying to buy the house that has an agent.
Exactly. But that's kind of tough because when you're doing a FSBO and you're trying to work with a buyer that doesn't have an agent, you're really limiting yourself, because for a lot of buyers and from the buyer perspective, they're coming in trying to get an agent because they know the seller is going to pay the agent, not so much them. Because their agent isn't getting paid by them.
Correct. So it's obviously not common for the buyer to be paying the commission that is part of the selling process, because you are the one that has the equity.
Right.
So some tips for a FSBO, if you've just really anti-agent.
Which is totally fine.
Totally fine. Sorry. Someone did you wrong in the past. We try not to do that. Well, we don't do that. Don't even try. I don't think I've ever done anybody wrong.
But if you are in the FSBO boat.
Correct. Just keep in mind that if you have your home on the market and you don't want to work with someone that has a buyer's agent, so someone representing a buyer, you really are limiting your pool. Because right now, as an agent, we know that the inventory is lower, like we were saying. So we're looking at your house too.
Yeah.
So it used to be kind of that an agent didn't see your house as much. It was kind of really low on our radar because we had houses to pull from that were listed from what we could see.
From on market, right? Whereas a FSBO doesn't go on market. It's kind of in its own place where it's on Zillow or Craigslist or wherever you post, sometimes on Facebook Marketplace these days.
Correct.
But it's not technically on the market through multiple listing systems.
Yes, but right now we all have buyers that are looking, and there's no houses for sale. So we also are looking at your house.
Right.
But it really is one of those things that we kind of like to present it to our client, knowing that you are going to take care of the standard 3% commission on your side.
Yes. So just know that going into it, that you're going to get a bigger pool of buyers for your home, even if you're doing a FSBO. if you're willing to pay that 3% for the buyer's agent.
Yes.
And they'll also help kind of keep the process smooth, but just keep in mind that they're going to represent their buyer.
Correct.
They're not representing you. So you got to also make sure that you're looking out for yourself and making sure that you know what to look for during the process as a seller.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we still there 100% to represent our buyer because we are in a
Yeah.
signed agreement to take care of them.
Yes.
So if you're-
legally.
yes, legally in an agreement. So if you're comfortable taking care of yourself,
Then by all means, feel
by all
free.
means. But keep in mind, so if you do open yourself up, that you're like, okay, I am willing to work with someone that has
Yeah.
an agent, you may find that it benefits you financially and legally to have an
Right.
agent on your side too.
Yeah.
Sometimes, a lot of times, that's when people really start to switch over. They're like, okay, let me work with somebody, and you might end up with more money at the end anyway, even though you're getting commission,
Exactly.
because as a buyer's agent, I know that I won't say it's like, you know that they're not represented. So sometimes I hate to see people get taken advantage of.
Right, exactly, because you have to know that you need to be prepared to negotiate. You need to be prepared to look at the documents and all the contracts, because while it's just paper, it is still legal documents that you're
Correct.
working with here, and you're going under contract, and there are things at stake here and liabilities that you go under as someone that's selling their home to another person.
Yes.
Especially because from a buyer standpoint, especially if they're first time home buyers, this is the biggest purchase they made in their lifetime. So just know that they're going to take that pretty seriously, and you as a seller need to make sure that you're prepared to go into that process, even if it's totally on your own.
Correct. And obviously, we've been through the schooling, we've been through the courses, we
Yes.
know that contract.
So many courses, my gosh.
So that's one of those things that, that would be like someone trying to sell me a Burger King and I didn't read
Yeah.
it. Like, I don't know. I don't work in Burger King.
I'll just sign here.
Like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that having someone to represent you and us representing our buyer, we know that contract in and out.
Right.
You can ask me a question. I know what page it's on. Like, that's just what we do. We see them all day long.
All day.
Writing these all day long.
Exactly. So someone that does them all day, every day, to someone who does it maybe once or maybe twice in a lifetime, that's a big difference.
Correct.
And you just want to make sure that you're covered, that you're represented, and if you decide not to go with a real estate agent, that you at least have an attorney on your side.
Correct.
Who can walk you through and answer any questions that you might have. Even if you don't go with a real estate agent, make sure someone is there to cover you.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
We really do recommend that because, like we said, you are in a legally binding contract.
Yes.
So you just want to
People
make
can
sure.
be sued through the process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't want it to get dirty.
Don't want you to get sued.
Yeah.
We want you to hang out and drink tea with us.
Yeah. Not what we're looking to get happen.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we are seeing for sale by owners pop up. We see
Yeah.
them. We see them every day.
Yes.
So a lot of times they obviously do sit a little bit longer, just due
You
because
can have longer market time.
an agent does tend to pull that's something that's on market just because it's front of mind. Like we see
Right.
them, you know what I mean? We're looking at those 3, 4, 5 times a day to say,
Yes.
hey, what hit the market new?
Yeah, exactly. And there are different types of ways you can work with an agent if you're not comfortable paying that 3% to a listing agent. You can also do a limited service listing with an agent, so that way they're putting it on the market for you, but they're not representing you. They're just using their license to put your information on the market.
Yeah,
really.
so that way your house is getting blasted out, so that
Yeah.
large window that we're talking about. But with
Yes.
that, you have to know we are not your legal representative.
Right.
You do all your negotiating, you know what I mean? You are scheduling people to come view your house. We're literally just taking care of kind of that marketing to put it on the MLS for you.
Just to get it blasted to more buyers.
Correct.
Yeah.
But really everything else legality wise is still, we are not there for, we're not that we don't want to be there for advice, but that's just not legally what we can do.
Yeah, that's
that's
just
not
different
what's in
options.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are all kinds of options.
Yes, there
So-
are lots of options. So if that's something you're interested in or you have questions on, Ashley and I are here to help. And of course, we'll put our contact info at the end of this video.
Yes.
As always.
Biggest tip of the day is if you're ready to sell,
Now's the time.
now is the time. Every single time we say that, but now is the time.
Yes.
So everybody, enjoy your tea.
Cha-ching.
Have a great week, and we will see you next week. Is episode 5.
Episode 5. It's going down.
Right,
And we
right.
might do a giveaway.
You never know. You have to stay tuned.
See you next week,
Bye,
guys.
guys.